Hey, did you guys hear about that Universal Monsters wedding? Hope you brought something borrowed and something blue, because I have something old and something new. What's happening, everybody? It's Gary here with the Wax Nostalgic Network. Happy Halloween! Hope you are enjoying yourselves in this weekly lead up to Halloween. Today, I've got something that's a little bit retro and a little bit modern. Actually, a whole lot retro and a whole lot modern. Who am I trying to kid? I am talking about the figures that were released or supposed to be released last year that I was hoping to do a Halloween video about in 2024. However, I didn't get mine until February or March, so I pushed it to this year. That is NECA's Crypt Kid Universal Monsters 4-pack. So one day this past winter, I come home and I see this giant box sitting on my porch. It's from NECA, so I know exactly what it is. So let's throw back to past me as I open up the box in the wrong aspect ratio because I'm apparently old and don't know how phones work. So when I first bought this thing, I wondered how the box would look. I didn't anticipate that it would be such a massive box. There's not a lot of practical space saving in this packaging, but it does look pretty cool as is. I like how, you can see in the window all the characters as well as the coffin. You get the NECA Crypt Club, which is a nice throwback to the Burger King Kids Club vibe. The side art of the box is stunning. Like, this is my favorite part. This would look good on a shelf, but it's just so darn big that I don't really know where it fits. The back has Scare Up Some Fun, Universal Monsters, Collect All Four If You Dare, Bolts and Volts Frankenstein, Down for the Count Dracula, Scalian Scary Creature, and Cellar Dweller the Wolfman. And then this side also has that repeat packaging, but boy is it beautiful. Also worth noticing, I just realized on the bottom it has the credits for who worked on this product, which I think is kind of nice, as well as the Universal logo, NECA, Real Toys, and then a barcode. So this box is it's truly something else. Okay, now that it is out of the box, I can say that I'm noticing so much more than I noticed before. Like, that reflective plastic was doing this beautiful box art no favors. You can see images that correlate with each individual figure. And I love that. I love the way that it looks. Got Scare Up Some Fun, Collect All Four. Honestly, it looks exactly like the little window displays that Burger King would have for their toys back in the day. Burger King and McDonald's had both of those. On the side, it's got some very reminiscent of the old school toys art. Let's see, I believe, yeah, the back is the same as before, and then this side of the spine is also the same. So now I hope that I can get them off of this cardboard without destroying the box any further, because I don't want it. It's so pretty. I figured it out. You just pull that up and then there's all these zip ties in the back. So bear with me while I go through this. Actually, it's just going to be a quick cut for you, but know that I am putting in the work. The figures are now loose. The only thing remaining is some silica gel and a stand. Now, to understand the significance of this, you need to know the lore of what exactly it is that I'm talking about. And this is a throwback to one of the most iconic Burger King toys that I can remember in my childhood from 1997, their Universal Monsters promotion. This is the Burger King Adventures issue from that time, volume 8, issue 7. And it is a beautiful, beautiful little flyer. And across the front cover, you can see the Universal Monsters hidden. You open it up inside. It's a very full page of information, including what's your monster IQ and help us find the way out. So it's a bit of a maze as well. And it gives you tricks for a safe Halloween. On the back, teaches you how to make a funny face on Halloween. And it also gives you information on all 4 of the toys that were a part of the Kids Mill. Now, as I said, this was a toy line that I remember very clearly. I remember going to Burger King, and this was around the time where I was kind of getting to be an adult, because I remember being torn because I wanted the original chicken sandwich, the long chicken sandwich, but I also wanted the kids meal toy. And I remember just sort of having this like tug of war in my brain over whether or not I got a kids meal or I got a chicken sandwich. And I'm pretty sure I wound up getting the chicken sandwich, but then my mom was kind enough to buy the toys for the kids meals. And these toys were great. It was only 4 figures, but they were iconic. You know, you had Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and each one of them had their own play features, which I thought was really fun. They all also came with a glow-in-the-dark sticker, and more on that later. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do some comparisons of the figures. So this is the classic Creature from the Black Lagoon. As you can see, it's not very tall. It's about, what, 3.5, 4 inches tall. And he had a place on his chest here. You can see it's a slightly different shade of green that you could press in and water would squirt from his mouth. And I'm pretty sure that feature would still work, but I don't want to put water in it and get anything trapped inside of him that could create molding or anything like that. So this toy has probably never had water in it because of how well I took care of my toys back in the day. So let's take a look at the new version of him. And as you can see, he's significantly taller than the original version, but a lot of the same features. I mean, they almost got the same color green. And if you look, you can see sort of a cutout on his torso. However, and actually the plastic there is a little softer, so it does give that sort of push feel. However, it does not actually connect to his head to have any sort of squirting effect. Much more posable than the original 5 POA figure, although this one was actually just a 4 POA because his legs moved, his arms moved, but his head did not because they had to obviously keep his head static for the squirting effect. But this one has a lot more motion. You've got motion in the hands, in the wrists, and in the elbows, arms, torso, waist, leg, knee, foot, and his head also twists and turns both at the neck and the upper chest cavity there. So a lot more detail in this figure, and it looks really, really nice. I see a lot of references to the original in it. You can see even on the backside how they have the same fin curvature. And this is just a really cool looking upgraded toy. I love the fact that they gave us sort of that same semi-see-through plastic that we had in the original. Next up, we have the Wolfman. So here he is, and I know what you're thinking. What's in the box? Well, I already told you, it's the Wolfman. He had a little lever that you could twist, and it would pop him up, which I think this feature is so neat because you can see there's like a little piece that pops up with him, and on it has the moon and some trees, so it gives it a nice effect. We can close this again and then just pop him up. I always thought that that was so cool. It works because his feet fit on these little spikes here, and that rotates. So it's literally him just being propelled towards the top of this cellar. And the figure itself it was always probably one of my least favorites. However, it's still great. It's just classic Wolfman. And once again, 5 POA, or actually, for the first time, 5 POA, and I think, he looks really cool. Now let's find out how the new version looks. And by doing that, oh, it's stuck in my pocket. There we go. Here's the new Wolfman. And as you can see, they borrowed from the classic NECA mold that they have for him and just gave him more of a 97 Burger King style. And as you can see, his pants are a little higher up on his ankles, and they're a little more detailed with the cuffs and everything. But beyond that, like, the rest of the figure is pretty identical. He's a little more buttoned up here than he is in the classic, but those are the two main things. And similar with the new version of Gilman, there's all sorts of points of articulation. In fact, I think they're mostly the same. He doesn't have as much bend in his torso area. He's just got a waist swivel. But A lot of really nice detail in this figure, and you can see his fingernails are long and kind of grody. And yeah, just a really great looking toy, and you can see them side by side. Quite a scaled up do-over. I'm here for it. Next up, we have the monster himself. We have Frankenstein's monster, and he came with this cool little table that used to have a working effect on it. It no longer does, but you used to be able to pull down on this lever and it would light up, which is why his head and hands were this unusual translucent green, because whenever he was laying there and you would light it up, his head would then light up. And it never, because he's mostly solid colored plastic throughout, I don't believe his hands really lit up. However, it's been a long time and I can't quite recall. I always thought that the light up effect was pretty neat, and there's a lot of detailing on this little workbench, so to speak. And yeah, this was one of my favorites. I would always have like my G.I. Joes fighting against Frankenstein and Dracula and their fellow monsters. And so, to stick with this cool translucent glowing color, the new version also has it. And I can see, like, to someone who doesn't know this original Burger King toy line, why this might seem strange. But as someone who was there for it, I am in turn here for it. I love how this figure looks. He's got great ranges of motion, similar to the Wolfman. He's got sort of one bendable area in his torso, which is the waist swivel, and he's a little less posable than any of the others, and I think that's because, like, his ankles do move just a little bit, but barely. That's about as much as you get out of him. And I mean, that's fine. He is a chunky, heavy piece of plastic, and I can understand the limited range of motion for him. But you can put him in the iconic poses that you need to, and I just think that the two of them look great side by side. All right, here we have Dracula. And I know I normally show you the features of the original before I show you the new one, but I feel like it's important to note that unlike with Wolfman and Frankenstein, they gave us an accessory. They gave us Dracula's coffin, and you can see the similarities between both of them, both the original and the new version. And the only difference is this is like raised print, and this is, I mean, it is, but it's not as dynamic as the original is. Like, this was very raised, and this is just mildly so. The only other thing that I find a little bit of a letdown is that this is screen printed as opposed to being a cut out hole like we had with the original. More on this guy in just a minute. But first, the original. This, similar to Wolfman, had a little lever that you could lift, and then the character would rise out of the thing, so you can do it nice and slow in a creepy Dracula fashion, or you can get a little crazy with it and just fling it across the room. But this is the Dracula figure that came in that original Kids Mill, and I thought it was cool. Like I said, I would have him and Frankenstein go up against my G.I. Joe figures when I was younger, because they scale really well. It's just, much more limited POA. This is a fun toy. I really like this figure, and it had a removable cape, which felt like just an extra little bell and whistle that I didn't necessarily need as a kid, but I was happy to have it. And I love the sculpting on his face. I think he looks really solid. And I mean, even back in the day, I think this figure still holds up as a really quality looking toy. All right, so let's talk about the big version of him. This one has a little bit more, actually. So, like, it's got, I forget what they call these, but the handles are movable. All four of them are, as opposed to just being printed on the side. Uh, the thing that is kind of lacking in this one is that there is no play feature where you can flip it up and make the top come off. It's just there on a latch. However, the figure inside is fantastic. As opposed to the original smaller version from Burger King, this version has a nice cloth goods cape, and similar to the original version, the cape is removable. And I love the feel of this cape. Like, the texture just feels so good, and it's very drapey, and you can have it in a lot of different ways. So you can have it like half hung over his shoulder, or have him fully engulfed in the cape, and or have him like the shadow, uh, or whatever you want to do with him. Like, I would have loved having this much of a detailed cape when I was a kid, and it kind of reminds me of the old Batman capes from my youth. This figure has a lot more detail than the original, but you can definitely see that they are thematically connected. But a lot of the details are there, including the little medallion around his neck and the red collar. Again, I mean, slightly upgraded from the original version in terms of details, but it's the posability and the overall redo of this figure is just fantastic. I love the way that it looks. Men's Warehouse. So, here we have all 4 of the new NECA versions. I think this is such a cool thing that I don't think anyone was really asking for, but they gave it to us anyways, and I am so thankful that they did. Like, these are cool, they are nostalgic to me. I'm sure they're nostalgic to, people who are about the same age as me and remember that toy line fondly. And I know people do remember it fondly because it's hard to find stuff for that classic Burger King collection of these toys. Like, the toys themselves are expensive. Oh, and they all come with stickers, which I think is really cool. So you've got Dracula, you've got Wolfman, you've got Frankenstein, and you might notice that there's a boat with Gilman sticker on it. That's actually, I believe, John Smith's boat from the Pocahontas toy line, but since he didn't come with a play accessory, I gave him a boat. I mean, he's a sea guy. Why not give him a boat? Throw him a boat, I was very surprised because I had these sitting on the floor whenever I was filming this video or preparing to film this video. And I turned off the lights one night and I was like, what's that glowing over there? And I was so shocked to see that these stickers still glow in the dark. After all these years, I mean, almost 30 years later, they are still glowing very bright. That was such a nice surprise. And honestly, I'm glad that I stuck them to the toys. That wasn't what you were supposed to do, but otherwise those stickers would have been lost with time. So I'm thankful that they are stuck on my original toys from way back when. And I love that. I actually wish I could get these stickers separately. Like, I don't need the toys again, but I would love to get a pack of the stickers again because I don't know, I want to stick them all over my room. They're so cool. But yes, like I said, this was not something that they really needed to do, but I'm so thankful that NECA did. They've given us a lot of Universal Monsters figures over the years, between black and white versions and color versions and whatever have you. There's a lot of versions out there, but if I had been a betting man, I would not have guessed that they would give us these Crypt Club, Burger King kids meal versions of the characters. Yet here we are, and I have them in my hands, and I'm so thankful to have them. Now, like I said, this video was supposed to come out last year, but it took forever to receive these, and honestly, I'm not mad about it. It was worth the wait, and I really love these toys. If I have any negatives to say, it's that Dracula was the only one that came with an accessory. Now, I understand packing in stuff for all 4 of these guys would take up a ton of space and make the box even bigger than it already was, but like, it would be nice to have like that cellar playset with Wolfman, or the glow-in-the-dark table for Frankenstein, for Frankenstein's monster. Don't want to get that wrong. People get upset about that. I'm one of them. And I just, it's cool that we got the coffin, but no play feature in it. And like, I don't know, I might have even bought accessory packs if they had sold those with the other, characters' displays. But at the end of the day, I'm not too upset about it. There is another Frankenstein table that I could get if I wanted to. And yeah, I don't know. I just think these are so cool. They give me such a nice throwback feeling and just make me very nostalgic for Halloween. So yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Did you get these? What do you think about them? Do you remember the original toy line from Burger King? Is that rubbing that sweet nostalgic itch for you like it did for me? I don't like that sentence, but I said it anyways. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this. I come up with all sorts of content as frequently as possible, week to week lately, which is weird. I'm going to keep trying. I've got one more video to release, and that will drop on Halloween Day. So until then, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to stay nostalgic. Later, guys.